Carmel Belisario, and for this video, I'll be sharing my reflection on philosophy in action, applying the love of wisdom in real life. To me, philosophy is not just a subject. It's a guide that helps me make sense of the choices I face every single day. Are you also wondering what this word philosophy means? If you were to ask me, I would say that when I think about philosophy, I see the love of wisdom. Philo means love, and Sophia means wisdom. Adding them together to form the love of wisdom. It all begins with a sense of wonder. That feeling when you start asking questions about life, truth, and meaning. As Plato once said, philosophy begins in wonder. For me, philosophy is not just about raising questions, but about searching for answers that can shape the way I live. Philosophy pushes me to pause, think critically, and understand the deeper meaning behind my decisions and experiences. There are many branches of philosophy, but two that I find most relevant to my life are the ethics and logic. Ethics. This is about knowing the right from wrong. Socrates believed that living a good life meant choosing what is morally right. For me, ethics shows up in everyday decisions, like being truthful, treating people fairly, and being responsible in both school and at home. Logic, on the other hand, is the study of reasoning. Aristotle, often called the father of logic, emphasized clear and rational thinking. In my life, logic helps me organize my thoughts, avoid rushing into decisions, and solve problems step by step instead of being carried away by emotions. Allow me to share a personal story that reflects how I've applied philosophy in my own life. One situation I personally struggle with is being compared to my younger cousin. Sometimes, people notice what they achieve and then compare it with me, which makes me feel pressured and insecure. The main question I ask myself is, how can I deal with constant comparisons without losing confidence in who I am? Philosophy helps me here. Ethics reminds me that my value doesn't depend on how I measure up to others, but on how I choose to live rightfully and truthfully. Logic helps me look at the situations more calmly. It makes me realize that comparisons aren't always fair, because every person has their own strengths, weaknesses, and timing in life. My resolution is to focus on improving myself instead of competing with others. By reflecting on what I can control, my effort, my choices, and my growth, I can respond with understanding instead of frustration. Overall, this experience showed me that philosophy isn't something distant or too abstract. It's something I can live out every single day. It's about keeping that sense of wonder, just like the early philosophers who questioned the world around them. Philosophy helps me slow down, think deeper, and make choices that matter not only for myself but also for others. As Socrates once said, the unexamined life is not worth living. This reminds me, and hopefully all of us, to keep reflecting and seeking wisdom in our own life.